Security footage shows a woman walking into room 307 of the Harlan Hotel at 2:14 in the morning. She never comes back out. 3 days later, staff find the door deadbolted from the inside. Her suitcase, passport, and phone are untouched. No forced entry, no struggle, no trace of Elena Voss, and she may not have been the first to vanish behind that door. Housekeeping records show room 307 remained undisturbed for 3 full days after Elena Voss checked in. At precisely 11:02 in the morning, on the third morning, the hotel's housekeeping supervisor, Karen Bell, unlocked the outer latch using her master key. The deadbolt was still engaged from the inside. Maintenance was called to remove the hinge pins, allowing staff to swing the door open without disturbing the lock. Bell's first entry was logged at 11:19 in the morning. She later described the air as still, with no unusual odors or temperature shift. The bed was made. The bathroom towels hung neatly. On the luggage rack sat a navy blue suitcase, zipped but unlocked. Elena's passport rested atop it, beside her phone and a boarding pass. A half-empty water bottle and a room service menu lay on the desk. Her wallet was inside a small purse, tucked into the closet, along with a change of clothes. Nothing appeared missing or out of place. The supervisor's initial scene log notes, in careful handwriting, each item's location and condition. Photographs were taken before anything was moved. The door, hinges, and frame showed no signs of tampering. The only keycard access since check-in belonged to Elena. No forced entry, no footprints, no scattered belongings, no evidence of a struggle. The room was as if paused mid-stay, sealed from within, its occupant gone. Each item in room 307 was handled according to strict protocol. The evidence technician began with a fresh set of gloves, announcing the case number 2026CR07 before touching anything. Every object was photographed in situ, angles logged, and a scale marker set beside each artifact. The navy blue suitcase became Exhibit A, tagged with a barcoded label and its position on the luggage rack noted in the evidence log. The passport, Exhibit B, was bagged separately, its cover visible in the first photograph, then sealed with a tamper-evident strip. Elena's phone received its own log entry, battery status recorded, and was placed in a static-free pouch. Inside the closet, the wallet and clothing were inventoried as Exhibit C and D, with each transfer of custody initialed and time-stamped on the chain of custody form. The half-empty water bottle, Exhibit E, was swabbed for DNA before being sealed. The room service menu, Exhibit F, was flattened and photographed for fingerprints. All items were double-checked against the initial scene log to ensure nothing was overlooked. A master evidence sheet listed each exhibit by number, description, collection time, and collector's name. Tamper-evident seals were applied to every bag. The chain of custody record began the moment the first exhibit left the room, documenting every handoff and storage location. Photographic tags matched the log entries, creating a clear trail from the original scene to the evidence locker. By the end of the process, the physical space of room 307 was transformed into a set of documented exhibits, each ready for forensic analysis and later cross-reference. The security manager starts with a blank evidence board and 2 foundational records, the front desk ledger and the hotel's Wi-Fi access logs. Each document is treated as a time-stamped artifact, pinned to the minute. The ledger, a digital printout from the night of Elena's arrival, shows a single entry at 2:14 a.m. It reads, Elena Voss, room 307, check-in completed by night clerk S. Patel. Next to her name, a small crescent glyph appears, a symbol rarely used, typically reserved for late-night arrivals or special circumstances. The meaning is not explained in the staff manual, but seasoned clerks recall it as a quiet mark for rooms flagged for additional attention. 3 minutes after the ledger entry, a new data point appears. The hotel's network log records a device connecting to the guest Wi-Fi SSID Harlan Guest 307 at 2:17 a.m. The MAC address, later matched to Elena's phone, confirms the device was active in the room. For the security manager, this Wi-Fi ping is more than a technicality. It places a physical object tied to Elena inside room 307 at a precise moment. The device remains associated with the network for nearly 2 hours before dropping offline, its last handshake logged at 4:09 a.m. With these two records, the security manager begins to assemble a timeline that moves beyond static evidence. The ledger and Wi-Fi log are pinned side by side, their timestamps forming the backbone of a minute-by-minute reconstruction. Each new entry, each technical marker will be layered onto this sequence, building a dynamic framework for the investigation that will soon confront unexplained gaps and technical anomalies. The forensic technician opens Exhibit D, the lock audit export, and scrolls through the digital record. Only 2 entries appear for room 307, Elena's initial keycard swipe at 2:16 a.m. and a single failed attempt at 8:03 a.m. on the morning after check-in. No other guest, staff, or MasterCard access is recorded in the 3-day window. The technician notes the audit trail's limitations. This lock, a Salto model, stores a rolling log based on days, but here, the file shows just a narrow slice of activity, with no evidence of system resets or overwritten events. The deadbolt function stands out in the technician's report. When engaged from inside, it disables all card access from the hallway, including Elena's own key. Only a mechanical override or physical removal would bypass it, and neither action is reflected in the audit. The log's integrity is verified by matching its timestamps with the hotel's network time protocol, ruling out clock drift. The absence of forced entry, combined with a lock sealed by the deadbolt and a complete lack of additional swipes, eliminates the possibility of ordinary card-based entry or exit. The technician's summary: the room was locked from within, electronically and mechanically, for the entire period Elena was missing. 4 possible explanations guide the next phase of the inquiry, each tested against the known facts. The first scenario considers controlled staff access through a back-of-house route. Service corridor schematics show a network of staff-only passages running parallel to guest hallways. These doors require staff key cards, and every use is logged by the access control system. In Elena's case, the logs for the adjacent service doors show no entries during her stay. No staff or contractors entered or exited near room 307. This route, while plausible in theory, leaves no digital trace to support its use. The second hypothesis examines the maintenance voids. Floor plans reveal small utility hatches above the ceiling tiles, designed for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning and plumbing access. Maintenance logs for the week list only 1 entry on the 3rd floor, a routine filter check completed 2 days before Elena's arrival. There are no unscheduled work orders, and the hatch nearest room 307 remains sealed, with its tamper evidence sticker unbroken. A third possibility is a staged disappearance. Here, every item left behind, passport, wallet, phone, would have been deliberately arranged to mimic an unplanned vanishing. Yet the absence of any secondary access and the intact deadbolt raised the question of how Elena could have exited without triggering a single log or leaving a trace of forced entry. The idea of a staged scene explains motive, but it struggles to explain the lack of physical evidence. Finally, mechanical failure is weighed. The Salto lock audit shows no evidence of malfunction, battery voltage within range, no error codes, and a complete event record with no gaps. The deadbolt's physical inspection finds no sign of jamming or override. Each scenario is mapped to its critical indicators: keycard logs, hatch seals, maintenance records, and lock diagnostics. With no theory matching all the evidence, the investigation turns outward, searching for patterns beyond a single locked room. The archivist begins with a ledger page dated March 12, 1957. In faded ink, the name Agnes Carter appears beside room 307, marked with a small crescent in the margin. The notation, unfamiliar to modern staff, matches the symbol used for Elena's check-in decades later. The next artifact is a maintenance order from July 1978, stamped urgent. It notes a loose floorboard outside room 307, possible access to the attic void. The work order is signed off, but no follow-up is recorded. A grainy CCT V, still from 1999, enters the frame. A woman, Sophia Reyes, stands in the third-floor corridor. Around her neck was the same pendant later found among Elena's belongings. The timestamp places her outside room 307, hours before she vanished. At the center of the table, the archivist places a sealed envelope labeled Exhibit X. Inside is an undeveloped negative from the hotel's attic, discovered during renovations in 2021. When processed, the image reveals a blurred figure in the doorway of room 307, posture and clothing eerily similar to Elena's last known appearance. The photograph carries no date, no name, only the ghost of a recurring pattern. Each artifact is pinned to the evidence board, the negative at the center. The sequence remains unresolved. One disappearance echoes another, the pattern repeating itself without explanation. Every year, more than 600,000 people vanish in the United States, most without a trace. As hotels expand surveillance and security, the gaps in our understanding remain. Some mysteries resist explanation, even in plain sight. The unanswered questions in this room are still waiting for someone to unlock them.